Thank you. Thank you, Fernando. You can tell like he's been doing the same thing with his hands over and over again. That is a sure tell on a lot of these AI avatars, but I will warn you, there's so many new avatars coming out and new programs that being able to say fake real is getting harder and harder and harder. I have a few of myself and I showed my husband, and at first he didn't know who was who. So that's pretty cool. You don't have to do your hair. Like it's so awesome for doing content. As we dive in here, I have a question for everyone. Has anyone ever done a DNA test like 23andMe or Ancestry or anything like that? Yeah? Any surprises? Well, January 21st, 2021 was the day that my life changed forever. I opened up the results of my DNA test and I'm scrolling through and I do not recognize one name. No one. What the heck? And then I started seeing that I was 52% Italian. Italian? I grew up in a Polish family. My last name was Pulaski. 52% Italian. What are you talking about? I knew about a little bit about the Irish and English part. My mother said she didn't know her biological father. However, he was from a wealthy Irish Catholic family. That's all I knew. But apparently, people who would know the answers to this mystery are long deceased, and I had no idea what was going on. And I'm seeing all these Italian names. Now, I grew up in New Jersey, so a lot of Italian names, and I had the most horrible thought as I'm scrolling through all these names. Have I dated any of these people? And thankfully, I had not. But it really did change my world about who I thought I was, what I thought I knew, how I acted, how I behaved, how I showed up in the world. And I realized that this DNA has a lot to do with many things, including business. Our DNA of our businesses now are about to change and completely throw you upside down. It's not a matter of just using the AI tools. It's a matter of adjusting how we think, how we do business. Whatever we knew before right now is pretty much almost out the window, right? Customer satisfaction is still key. Keeping your employees happy, another one. However, your business DNA is made up of all of the things that bring you here today. Your experience, your education, your clients, your employees, what they bring to the table. That is all organizational DNA. And now we need to recode that for this next season. And before I leave you with this slide here, I sort of knew in the back of my mind that something might have been off. Now, I do not look Polish. I tan. I would ask my mother, Mom, why am I the only one that gets tan? And she goes, honey, those Yugoslavians, that recessive gene, they were very dark. Okay. Mom, why am I the only one with brown eyes? And she'd say, well, honey, those Yugoslavians, same thing. I'm like, well, the science teacher said that two blue-eyed people can't have a brown-eyed child. Oh, that recessive gene. And then finally, my Polish cousins were always jealous of me because I was the only one that could grow a mustache in junior high. So I am delighted to be here with all of you today. For background, I was an international vice president for AT&T Wireless in the Caribbean. So I was in charge of two countries, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada, and our headquarters were here in Puerto Rico. So I would come here once a month, and we would have meetings. It was an office by the airport, basically, and we'd go there, we'd have dinner, we'd go back to the airport, and that would be the end of it. So thank you so much for having your meeting here in this lovely spot. I've never been to a Puerto Rico resort, so it's very exciting. But I wanted to prove to you how I was known in the Caribbean, the telecom princess. It's right here. There I am, the telecom princess. So just in case you didn't know, if you had the royalty of the Caribbean here with you. It was an interesting assignment, I'll tell you that. But as we dive into AI today, and Laura, thank you so much for sharing all of those tools and tips and tricks that are coming into your workplace that are already built in. And thank you to all of the people who filled out the survey. That was incredibly helpful to me. That is how I put my presentations together. And I'll tell you what I'm seeing in audiences now. Way back when, in the beginning of AI 3 years ago, I used to speak to everyone. Everyone was sort of a novice. Everyone was learning. People were not even opening up their AI. They haven't tried anything, nothing. They had bad vibes about it, the whole thing. But now the audiences look different. What's happening now in the audiences that I see, many people in the room have not yet experienced AI. There are some people in the room who are hating on AI, not really loving it. We're finding people who are jumping on board and be like, this is amazing. I wish I had this earlier in my career. This is something else. And then a whole bunch of things all mixed in the middle. So as we go through today, there will be some of you who are, this is relatively new to you. Some of you may be wanting to push me off the stage because you could be doing this presentation too. And that is awesome. And I love the feedback from all of you. So what we will do today is, at the end of the presentation, we're going to have some Q&A. I will also be giving you a very robust digital handout. So no need that you need to be taking notes. There's also going to be a few spots in the presentation where you can click on a QR code and follow along with what I'm going to show you. So stay tuned for all of that. In addition, now every time I do this talk, I've learned that people have a lot of questions afterwards. I call it the marinating period. You hear the information, you kind of walk around with it for a little while, and then you're like, what about that thing? So we're going to have a 1-hour AMA, Ask Me Anything call in the next few weeks. And you all be invited to that. So if you have questions that came up during this talk and you didn't get a chance to hear them, then you will be able to get that at that time. You'll also, in the handout, you heard I have a new book. I am giving you the entire book, the audio version, and a Kindle PDF. So we have a soft launch. We didn't do a hard launch on it, so I can give that out to you, and hopefully you will be able to use some things in there. It is actually a playbook. It's a workbook. So all the exercises that I'm going to talk to you about today, you will see them in black and white in the PDF, okay? So let's dive in. Does anybody feel like this? Well, I feel like this too, and I do this for a living. And it's interesting. I have a mentor in AI that I have been following since the very first day. His name is Isar Maitis, M-A-I-T-I-S, and he's out of Orlando, Florida, and he has an amazing YouTube and podcast called Leveraging AI. And I have been following Isar forever. And I took one of his courses a long time ago, and we got to become friends because we both speak in this space. And when I speak to him, because I think he's the guy, he says he's overwhelmed. All of the people that I follow, they all feel that they're overwhelmed. So if you feel a little bit like that, don't feel bad about it. You are not alone. You are part of the majority. And I have been spending the last 3 years between 8 and 10 hours a week learning new things. And someone in the audience said, it sounds like you spend a lot of time just monkeying around with this stuff. Yes, I do. So you don't have to, because it is incredibly complicated. There's so many voices shouting at you. What should you do? What should you use? What program? What project? What boom, 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 what? And it becomes overwhelming. Are most of you, and I think I saw some of this in the survey, using Microsoft Copilot? Yeah? fair amount, and other things. So this is, I'm going to share with you an infographic. This was created by Notebook LM. This is one of my favorite AIs. It's a Google product. The cool thing about it too is it's free. And you can make the most amazing infographics using the information that's in there. And I'll teach you how to create your own notebook. Because if you're dealing with clients, you're dealing with different projects, what have you, I create a notebook for every single client that I'm working with. And if you're doing proposals, presentations, client meetings, you're going to want to do this too, because you can synthesize massive amounts of information into Notebook LM and then extract it in really amazing things, such as this infographic. So what I did for all of you, I created a notebook. I put in the website for SMI. I took the list that Gabby gave me the other day of all the people that were going to be here. She told me about all of the partners and vendors. I put all of that in there. And then the survey that you all completed, I put that all into the notebook. And then I was able to extract information out of that notebook in order to present to you today. So every single time I do this presentation is customized in this way. So my beginning and my ending are pretty much the same, but this is what we put in the middle. And infographics are known to be a lot easier to read, to understand than other things. I love them. I am a verbal processor or an auditory processor, but this is what you said. But your number one goal, almost everyone who filled out the survey, is saving time. And the rest of you are across the board. Some of you are like, bring it on. Some of you are concerned about safety, and you should be. Some of you really haven't dove in there at all, and you're kind of waiting a little bit. But the reason why this talk and my first book was called Compete on Awesome with AI is because if you are not getting on board, your competitors are going to be getting on board. And what that means for you is that your pricing is going to go sideways. Because if your competitor is using AI to create lean and to create efficient and to create lack of redundancies and doing things cheaper, faster, better, that's going to mess up your ability to compete with them. So I always want anyone who hears any of my keynotes to really start thinking that way. Like, what are my competitors doing? Now, some of them may be bigger, some of them may be smaller. The bigger ones, they're not as agile, but they have a lot more cash. The smaller ones might not really be on board with this kind of technology, especially if they're just a really small shop, really small organization. You might be ahead of them and vice versa. But what I am seeing in manufacturing, and I have done several consulting engagements in the manufacturing space, and what I am seeing, though, are people are using the AI in all different places. Number one, in the office, which is a lot of applications. Number two, on the shop floor, and you heard with the wearables, and I am wearing Meta AI glasses. I am not recording you right now, but I will be later, so be prepared. I'll let you know first. And you're starting to see wearables. You're starting to see applications with AI built in. One of the top ways to use AI in any organization, especially in manufacturing, is the analytics. So how can you analyze what you're doing, what you have, all of your data, all of your employee information, your HR information, and using that to be more successful and using it to be more profitable? Example, I have a client who has a chicken feed factory in Pennsylvania. Third generation, it's an interesting setup. They do organic grain and they do non-organic. So these two plants kind of need to be separated. And so they cannot touch, because then you contaminate the organic. So I learned everything I wanted to know about chicken feed while I was there. But the lesson that we learned there is we were able to analyze their workflow in their organization by using wearables, by using video and analyzing it with Google AI Studio to find inefficiencies. So what we figured out was this. They run 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. There are apparently a lot of chickens in the United States that we got to run these plants like that way. But what was happening is the people in the middle of the night, if they ran into a problem, they would stop. And then that would jack up the people on the day shift because they would come in and they'd have to do a lot of extra work. And so there was a lot of issues with personnel. There was also a lot of overtime money that was being spent that didn't really need to be spent. So what we did, and I heard Laura say this earlier, we created QR codes on all the different pieces of equipment. And what we needed to do, though, was to translate them into 3 different languages, because they had 3 different languages being spoken on the shop floor. And so that created an issue. So we created the 3 QR codes. So if you got stuck right here, you could scan it and a video would pop up and explain to you what to do. So they did that at every workstation. Then we did that again for another manufacturing organization out of Canada. They have a location in Canada, they have a location in Mexico, and they have a location in Dubai. So once again, we have all of these different languages. So we created SOP documents, which I'll show you what we use for that. We use something called Traineal. And we created these SOPs, and then once again, we use the QR codes with the videos. And the videos were created using avatars. So we filmed one of their trainers in English, and we were able to upload that into the avatar program and create that same avatar 3 different times in 3 different languages. So that is, and do you know how quick that was? If you were to produce that kind of training a few years ago, or even last year, a couple years ago, it would have taken you forever. You would have created all of these videos, you would have had a production company, it would have cost a fortune too. Now, if you've got training already, that's either audio, visual, on paper, doesn't matter. You can turn all of that into usable content with AI that's going to help you to run your company. And I'm going to show you some real life financial ideas. So interesting, so I took your survey, I put it in my notebook LM, and this is what came back. And then after I got more information from Gabby the other day, I put in there all the people that would be here. So I wanted to see if the infographic would change. Kind of a little bit, but not really that much. But it's interesting. The more stuff you put in there, you're going to be able to get different things coming out. And you're going to actually now, these are all sort of new things, you can tell it you want it very detailed, you want it light, you want it anime, you have 7 different choices, and there's a new one, a 3D one, which I don't have yet. It came out 2 days ago. So that's also going to be a great thing. This is great for training or any kind of presentations. Another thing that Notebook LM does, and I'll share this with you, it makes these explainer videos. So why would this be important to you? These explainer videos can be used all over your organization to help your employees get on board. You can use them externally, you can use them on your website, whatever you want to articulate. Here is the video, and I didn't do anything except ask it for an explainer video for you.
Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're tackling AI in the spring manufacturing industry. So, for spring makers, is AI a friend or foe? Let's see what your peers at SMI say. Alright, first up, a reality check. This is all from a recent survey of industry leaders. So, where's everyone at? Looks like half of you are already experimenting with it. And how does that make you feel? Well, it's a near perfect split between excitement and caution. You know, that caution makes a lot of sense. The survey found some big shared hurdles. The biggest obstacles? Too much hype and not enough practical, secure guidance. Sound familiar? And yeah, this quote really nails it. We need practical steps that don't compromise our security. So with all these challenges, what's the actual goal? What makes AI adoption worth it? Well, the survey asked exactly that. And what? The answer from the industry was super clear. Check this out. Over 60% of you are all after the exact same thing. It's not about hype. It's about getting back precious hours spent on soul-crushing repetitive work. Okay, so how do we start saving those hours safely? Let's look at a simple framework. The strategy, go old school to go new school. Basically, find the friction first, then find the tool. Step one, start in the office. Go for simple admin tasks where security risks are low. Think about it. Alphabetizing lists, cleaning up emails, or summarizing long docs. Easy wins. Step two, move to the shop floor. Look at where trusted partners are already integrating AI. Big suppliers like Walvios are building AI right into their machines for diagnostics and help. AI is also a total game changer for inventory management, a key use case for wire suppliers. So you know the goal and the first steps. What's the one repetitive task you tackle first?
I really didn't do anything. It was really cool though, right? So just because I put all of that information in there, that's what it came back with. And that is how we start when we are doing an AI implementation. Has anyone had AI implementation in your organization thus far? You brought someone in and you mapped it all out? Okay. I'm going to share with you the process on how to do that. And in my handout later, you are also going to get all of my maps. And I'm going to share this with Gabby and Gary, G&G. These are the survey results, which I think you may find helpful. But we're going to stop here for a moment, and I'd like you to find somebody sitting next to you or near you or what have you. And I'd like you to discuss if you could automate anything in your workflow right now that would make your life so much easier, what would it be? Okay? And then I'll be asking for a few brave folks to tell me what the response was. So we're gonna go, it's 10:36 by my watch. We're gonna go to 10:38, so a minute each, and come back with one thing. If you could make automated, it would change your life. Ah, 1 minute. 1 minute. Switch partners. Huh. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Let's bring it back. Come on. I know it's the last day. Lunch is next. I get it. All right. Oh, you heard badly? There we go. Yes. Okay. Gabby and Gary, the G&G team have microphones. So, okay, great. Let's see. Let's hear one of the things that if you could automate it, it would change your world. Are you on Microsoft? Okay, Copilot is slowly rolling out tools to be able to do that. However, I will show you if you have ChatGPT or Claude, and I'm gonna have ask a question about the tools here in a minute, but there is a real live solution for that really fast. If you can be super clear, and it sounds like you're like really clear on what you want to happen, and that's part of implementing AI properly, we can make that happen for you. So it's right around the corner. Let's,
We have to do an 18-month forecast every month. So how can AI help me to identify what my customers are going to need 18 months from now?
I have a magic wand for that. No, I'm kidding. No, actually, what you can do, and I'm going to show you a small sample of that here in a little while, you can use predictive analysis. So if you take the last 3 years of data, and the AI could then analyze that and predict you maybe by month and be like, in the last 3 years, here were the trends. You can also link in there economic forecast information, right? So if you want to connect it to Reuters or Bloomberg or whatever it looks like in your industry, you can hook it up to a lot of different things, have it search, and then your predictability rate goes way up. So that is available right now. Are you on Copilot or using Copilot or? Oh, yeah, okay, all right, cool.
So one of the things that I struggle with is contracting you. It's so boring and you have to be really focused. And, it's 50 pages and, you just download it or you take pictures of whatever it is and throw it in there. It spits out the top 3 things you need to look at and any, potential red flags and, it's just really fast. You get something that's more complicated.
Well, I've got something new for you that if, are you using Claude at all? Is anyone using Claude? Okay, so Claude Cowork, which is a relatively new development with them, has a legal area now, right? So you can put that contract into Claude Cowork, click the legal, it will then go out to the world and find other examples, other things you need to be conscious of, but it looks through the lens of an attorney. And that will give you the best results, hands down. However, I will say, if you are using AI to study documents and to use contracts and all of that, I would test it in more than one AI to make sure that you don't have a hallucination issue, right? Because that can happen. So I would like you to double check that. Also, you need to make sure that the laws are applying to your state, your country, whatever, because it's not the same everywhere. One more. No. Yes, this person here.
So we do a lot of review of customer forecasts on a weekly basis, comparing. We do a lot of review of customer forecasts either on a weekly or monthly basis, and you're comparing whatever their output is in whatever format it is, what's in our ERP, and trying to identify differences. Right now, it is semi-manual at best, and that would be a big opportunity to save time.
And you're going to see the amazing outputs that you're going to get to. Are you using Excel, the whole Microsoft suite? You're doing these forecasts in Excel?
Our customers are using CSV outputs. So
CSV outputs.
We're using Excel to view those and then compare to our database.
Okay, cool. That's the easy one to solve. You'll see here in a second. I want to just play a quick video. So the next 2 slides, I want to explain to you before we start really diving into tools, what is happening in the world of AI. Because you may be seeing snippets of news and wondering, what does that mean and how is that happening? And there's especially a tumultuous situation happening with the United States of America and Anthropic, who owns Claude. I want to explain that, but first I'd like to have you hear Elon Musk doing this short talk. This came out of Davos, Switzerland, where the World Economic Forum was a few weeks ago. Now, If you look at Polymarket or you ask any of the tech geeks that I hang around with, they'll say that Elon is usually always right about future forecasts, but he's off on the timeline, right? So I'm going to let you hear what he has to say, but be mindful through the lens of his timeline might be off.
I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years, but the rate at which AI is progressing, I think we might have AI that is smarter than any human by the end of this year, and I'd say no later than next year. And then probably by 2030 or 2031, call it 5 years from now, AI will be smarter than all of humanity collectively.
Okay, now, here's all the AI players. I won't spend too much time on this because you may already know or don't care, but these are the players in AI right now. All of them are motivated by money. Yeah, lots of money. And this is a magical land we live in where you can lose $10 billion, but your company's worth 87 gazillion billions, right? Like they're running out of zeros with these evaluations that you're hearing. So top left, Jeff Bezos, Amazon. He is actually a very big player in AI. You may not see that as much out in the world, but you know, behind the scenes at Amazon and Alexa and all of that, there's Jeff Bezos. And he has a lot of money invested in all of these other places, which is very interesting. In the center there, that is Sam Altman. You may have seen him in your news feed in the last couple of days, and now if you go look him up, you'll see him every second in your news feed. He is on X nonstop, starting fights usually with people, but he is the founder and CEO of OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. Little history on that. ChatGPT, OpenAI, was started as a nonprofit, which it still is, and the founders were Microsoft, Elon Musk, and Sam Altman all started OpenAI together. You'll find this shocking. Elon got mad at them, and he stormed off and started his own company. So that's how XAI started. But Sam Altman has been criticized many times in the media for not paying attention to guardrails or safety. And this is going to continue to be an issue because what you're hearing in the news right now is on this very topic of safety. They went out and launched OpenAI as fast as they could without putting any safety. Now, you might have been wondering, like, where's Google? Where's Microsoft? Boom. They all had this technology, but they did not launch it because they didn't feel it was safe. OpenAI starts, you know the rest is history. Mark Zuckerberg over there, he is like the poor guy on the outside of everything, right? Well, you know, he's got billions of dollars too, but he keeps trying to develop Meta AI. So much, in fact, that he took $100 million and gave it to $200 million total, to 2 data scientists from OpenAI to come over and help with Meta. Well, guess what? They lasted a month and they went back. So I don't know what kind of shop of horrors he has going on that $100 million, like, you leave. This is Dario Amodei on the bottom left. Amodei, he's Italian, so he's my buddy, he's my paisan. So Dario Amodei is the one that you're seeing in the news all the time right now. He is the CEO and founder of Anthropic. He used to work for OpenAI, and he left because he didn't think they were safe. So what this brouhaha is going on with the government right now is the government largely uses Claude in all their processes. They're using it right now in Iran. But in his clause, and it's always been there, it says that it will not participate in autonomous weapons, and it will not spy on the American people. It's always been in there. But just recently, in the last couple weeks, it is brought to light, and now he is in this big war with the government, and now Sam Altman, his nemesis, because he left OpenAI and started Anthropic, now they're in a big public fight. And of course, Elon gets in the middle of all that, and it is a tech tumble. And the guy on the bottom right, you may have seen him, you've probably heard of his company, Jason Wang. He is the CEO of NVIDIA that makes all the chips that makes this stuff run. So so now you know the history. And I'm mainly talking today about large language models, which you heard Laura explain. There's large language models, they're generative AI, but now we're moving into agentic AI, where the agents are actually doing the work after you train it. And you need to think about your AI like this. It is a PhD level helper that knows nothing about you or your company or your organization. And you need to train it. And I will be giving you a master prompt document. So you can complete a master prompt document, keep it on your desktop, whatever AI you're using, you're going to bring this master prompt in, so the AI starts to learn about you, learn about your company, how you like to respond, and that goes for those emails that you want to respond to. What is your style? So then this way you're going to get better results. One of the things, though, that is going to maybe stand in your way of implementing AI in your organization, and maybe this is you, maybe you're sitting next to this person, these are what I call the digital denialists. So in AI implementation in your organization, first thing, you need to have an AI policy. Does anyone have that? Good. And that tells your employees what they can and cannot use, what they can and cannot do. And if you decide as an organization that you're going to use Microsoft, then you need to be all in on Microsoft. You cannot have your employees, though, like chat GPT things. Because number one, all the free versions are not secure. So when you're using the free version of any of the AI's large language models, you are sharing your data with them. If you don't care, well, no big deal. But if you do, and you have sensitive client data in your coffers, which you probably do, you do not want your employees ChatGPTing things without running it through the company IT, okay? So number one, having that. I also recommend that you have an AI committee. Because if you're going to go old school before you go new school, and you're going to map out all your workflows and processes to make the AI really work for you, you need to have somebody from the top functional areas to drive it down the field. It's not just the IT people. In fact, just the IT people is a bad idea because they don't understand your workflow, right? And good news for those of you who didn't just graduate college 2 years ago. People who are more seasoned and have been in the business market longer have better results with AI because you understand the workflow. So you know where you have friction and stucks in your company that you could increase the productivity there or make it more comprehensive or analyze better, all the things that you can run your company with. But you're going to run into these people. I call them the digital denialists, and here they are.
All right, another innovation, huh? I've seen plenty of these transformations come and go. Remember that CRM rollout or the project management tool that gathers dust?
No one can ever do things like me. This AI business, it's a fad. It will not last. Less is more, and when it comes to excellence, I'm the benchmark. Yep.
They call me the model. Only one in the company that uses. I'm not swamped. I'm not valuable. Maybe that's the same.
Look, I know everyone says we should get it out to the future and it'll make things faster, but I can't.
I don't train it. If I learn it, it moves me right out of the picture. So no, I won't touch it. Not because I don't get it, because I do. I get that everyone's excited about the new AI tool, but I just don't have time to learn this. I've got meetings back to back.
Do you see any of your employees in there? Or yourself? There's also a new digital denial list, which I have been running into more and more and more. This digital denial list that I'm about to share with you is usually on the younger side. They are newer to the market. They don't love AI at all. They're very concerned about the environmental concerns, which is something people should be concerned about. But here's what happens.
You see that billboard? They call it the future. Feels more like that pink slip. A robot made my last latte yesterday. You need to eat those servers. Those servers, they chew electricity like candy. They'll send it to the sky. And while they do,
Well, as leaders, you need to understand all of these digital denial lists because they are the people who will be either the help or the hinder of your implementation plan. And I recommend that when you are rolling out AI and you're creating your map of your workflow, you bring people to the table that have something to do with that workflow. Because if you are creating your AI plan in a vacuum and your team sees you with the AI people or the AI consultant and they're not involved, they're instantly going to go to her and be scared. And they are. There's a lot of uncertainty. Employees are nervous. Students are nervous. What should I go to college for? I don't know. What's going to happen in the future? No idea. So in order to get the best results, if you're going to start rolling out implementation, you got to bring people in. And you'll get the best information that way anyhow. But what I'm seeing is people are spending all this money and time on this AI implementation, and they're trying to shove it into all the corners of their company, but they are not looking at the map, the workflow first. So they're spending and wasting a whole bunch of money. And think about it. Microsoft Copilot, if you add it on, is $35 per month per seat every single month. You never pay it off. ChatGPT on the Pro plan, $25 a month per seat. It's a lot of money. Now, granted, you will have efficiencies, but it's not overnight. And that's the other thing I really need to convey to people. It is not overnight. You need to take one or two things, get them rolling. Okay, now let's add another one. Let's add another one. You can't just AI your company instantly. And it's a heavy lift up front. Right? You have got to like front load this baby and get everything in place, and then it starts to work. And that's where I see a lot of disappointment. And I was jokingly say, don't shoot the messenger. I'm going to start rolling into tools here, but I'll share with you how I ended up being in this space. My background's in tech. I shared that with you earlier. And my husband and I also owned a plumbing, heating, and air conditioning company. And 2 years ago now, my husband got really sick and he almost died. And I was helping running the plumbing company, but out doing this. So I was doing 2 jobs for a long time, and I was getting exhausted. And we'd have good employees, we'd have bad employees, the whole thing. But then he gets out of the hospital, and we go camping like we like to do, and he got struck by lightning. And he did not die. He is alive. And I tell you that because I have gotten sympathy cards in the mail afterwards, and it's awkward. And actually, my husband is here today, the first time to see me speak in 10 years, so he's over there. William, give away. He's alive, and we did sell our company. And the way we sold the company, which was not ready to be sold, was by using AI. And the number one rule that we used was to automate the routine, humanize the exception. And so we were able to shave $170,000 off of our budget, our operating budget, which on a $2 million company is a lot of money. So we operationally, we created an SOP system called Trainial. So it was AI assisted. So I was able to take Trainial and put all of our old SOPs, all that slop, put it into an organized manner that would increase onboarding. So what we did in 1 week, and why it was 1 week, because I wanted to see if I could do it, and I did it on LinkedIn live every single day, we were able to do 2,000 policies and procedures inside of this system in a week. Now, what that did for the company was to standardize everything that we had, which is very valuable to a buyer, and it created an onboarding which was 7 hours long. So it had videos, it had all kinds of things that I was able to pull in that I didn't have, right? And I thought it was, it's $250 a month for up to 20 employees. There's also other types of systems now that you can integrate, but the AI was already in there. We also integrated our marketing. So we were able to save almost 10 grand a month there. So that was a big one. But these are some of the things that you could use your AI for, and that's how we were able to sell. Now, it was not the exit that we planned or that we dreamed of, but we were able to keep our employees employed, and we were able to keep our customers taken care of. And my husband now works for them, which is why he can take vacation now, and he works for them 3 days a week. So it was a win-win for everyone. But we used this 3D framework of all the different tools that we were doing. And this is the old school to new school. Now initially, and I still recommend that you do this, and I do this on site for people all the time, is I will preliminarily meet with each department. Then I'll come on site and we will go around the table, each department, sticky notes, flip charts, all the old tools, and get everybody mapping out where they are, and then we make a plan for rollout. And the first rollout plan should be like on a 90-day cycle. But first things first is you need to come up with a priority worksheet. And simple, so in the office folks, for the next week when you get back to work, start jotting down all of the things that take way too long, they suck your time, they take you away from things that are better for you and your company, higher value, talking to customers, putting out proposals, all of those things, and that's where you begin. And then you put it together on a playbook. And the playbook will have different areas for each, it will have different tasks for each area. So in your handout too, you will have sample tasks. So these are some of the things, and you can just start circling them. Like these 5 things, man, if we could automate those in the next 90 days, we are off, right? Like you with these analytics, we could teach you how to do that in about 30 minutes. It's going to change your life. And so these documents will be in there. I want to share with you about agents. Is anybody using agentic AI anywhere in their business? Yeah, one of you? You want to get, you can do the rest of this. Of course. All right, so some of you remember who these two are. So I have changed it to agents, 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 because this is the next world that we are talking about. And I will tell you that a lot of people are making it look super easy, right? And it's not. You need to understand your workflow, and you either need to have a connector if you're using agents, or really understand what you are doing. It's getting easier. They are coming out with programs that are easier, but what an agent is set up to do is to do things in your absence. I'm going to show you some live examples, but if you are using ChatGPT, I want to show you where you can find the agents right there on that little plus. You do a drop down and you'll see all of those things, and you will see Canvas, you will see agents right here. So if you want to create one, that's how you would do it. You can put it into agent mode, and you can have these agents on a schedule. So I have agents sending me things on a schedule all the time. I have them out there searching for new tools and tips on AI. I have them searching for travel. I have it going through my calendar system and looking at where I'm going next and coming back to me with flight options. So tons of things that you can do with agents, but once again, it requires a lot of thought in the back end. And has anyone seen this part of ChatGPT if you're using it? A couple of you? This is key to you getting the best results. This is the back end of ChatGPT. It's super easy, where you have your little name on the bottom left, click on that, and you will see the personalization. This is going to get you the best results out of the AIs, all of them, right? So if you personalize it, have a master prompt, you will be able to then tell it how you want to communicate. And that will give you exponentially better results. Also, how are you asking the AI to do the work? Now, in the factory examples that I was giving you earlier, we were saying the prompt that we created for that work was this: you are a master analyzer. You are Six Sigma. You are whoever that person is, the best person to analyze workflow in your organization. That's the persona that you give it. And it feels weird to do that, but that's how you get the best results, because then the AI is looking through the filter of being an expert in that area. And you isolate that. Now here is an agent at work. So this is ChatGPT. I told it that I wanted to apply for and do a TEDx. I really don't want to do a TEDx. I did a TEDx and it is not all that it's cracked up to be. But I have it out there scrubbing the internet, looking for ways to apply for TEDx, all the things that I'm using. So it's going, and see, now it's finding all of that. So when you're in agent mode in ChatGPT, you get that pink kind of screen. So there it went to University of Delaware, there's one of their programs, and it is now applying on my behalf. And I didn't speed that up, that's as fast as it goes. So in just that amount of time, boom, now it's asking for registration details, and I have it, and please hear me, I have it stop when it's anything about money, right? Some people are not doing that, which is really stupid, because your AI could be buying all kinds of stuff for you. And there are evil AIs out there. There really are. We have now heard about Clawbot and all of these agentic AIs that are built with a bias and built with people on the back end who are not honorable, right? So this is what it did. And I had it stop. Now it went to Atlanta, right? And I gave it all the information to apply. So it's applying for all of them for me. But if there's a fee, it will stop. So that is number one. Now Claude, who we're hearing a lot about right now, Claude has an amazing product called Claude Cowork. So when you're on the $20 a month plan with Claude and you open it up, you will have you can download the app onto your computer, or you can put the Chrome browser extension on, right? So there's two different ways to get into Claude. You can just open up the browser, or you can add on this add-on, and it always starts with, hey, let's knock something off your list. Super helpful. So what I taught it to do the other day is I taught it to do my bookkeeping, reconciliation, and categorization of all of my transactions. Does anybody do that themselves, or you pay someone? Yeah, okay. Well, it's tedious and it's a pain, and if you're not doing it yourself, it's cost money. So what I did is I trained it to do that for me. So here's Claude. I put it in, and you are starting to see it. There it goes. Watch carefully, magic, see? Now it knows that that's a payroll expense, so we'll put that in. It's going all the way up and down there. And I also uploaded the bank statement for February. I didn't log into the bank with it. I downloaded the bank statement. So now it's going through and it is analyzing all that. It did the whole bank reconciliation and all the transactions in 11 minutes for $20 a month. So leave this page, right? So it will stop. So you should be watching it. Here's something else which is kind of cool about ChatGPTs and Claude. It's not the same for all of them. It will not run if you don't have your computer on. So I have some things running in the background, but if you shut this down, it will stop. But imagine this, and here's something else that I did in here. So I took fictitious financials. So I made up financials about your industry. So first I researched and I wanted to know what your key performance indicators were. I wanted to know what the averages were in your industry. And I made a fake profit and loss statement. And then I made a fake income statement. And I put it in here and I asked it to analyze the previous year. And I wanted it to give me a projection for the rest of 2026. And 2 of you asked me about projection. So this is it live. So this is what it did. And just so you can see, I thought it was easier just to show this to you live. So if you want to scan that, you'll see the documents that it produced. Can you see them? Cool. So it's 2 spreadsheets that are created. One of them was the budget for the rest of the year, and the other one is the projections. And it analyzed last year, right? So you get these 2 really robust spreadsheets that you can update every single month. And you can set this up then where you can do it on a regular basis. You can set it up like every 3rd of the month, I want you to do blank. And I want you to email it to me or whatever you want it to do. Is everybody able to see that? Yeah? Okay, cool. Any questions before I move on? Okay. Next thing is my friend at Notebook LM. I shared with you in the beginning some of the things that it did, and it keeps coming up with more amazing things. So as I mentioned, I added all the sources that I could get my hands on with all the information I knew about you, and then I put those financials up there. The cool thing about Notebook LM, unless you tell it to, it does not go out to the internet. So it's safe and secure. It does not use your information out there. If you tell it to go to the web and find information, it will, but it doesn't regularly do it, so it's a lot safer than a lot of other things. But this screen in particular, these are reports that you can create which make your life super easy. So if you take all the information about your company and you put it into Notebook LM, and say you want to create a notebook for each division or each department or each area of your company, then you want to write a blog post about it, bam. You need a report, you need an industry report, you need a strategic plan. All of those things you can deliver right there. And here's an example.
We are really glad you could join us. I'm your host, and I'm joined by our resident industry analyst.
Hey there. Really looking forward to unpacking this.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Because today, our mission is to look at what happens when the absolute cutting edge of digital tech, artificial intelligence collides with a highly traditional, incredibly hands-on sector.
We're talking about the precision spring manufacturing industry.
Exactly. It's an old school industry trying to figure out the AI revolution.
Yeah.
And we've got a fascinating stack of sources to pull from today.
We really do. This isn't just theoretical tech talk.
Right. We have access to a pre-conference strategy call with leaders of the Spring Manufacturers Institute, or the SMI.
Plus, we have raw industry survey data measuring how ready these companies actually are for AI.
Yeah, and on top of that, we've got the actual presentation slide from an AI keynote speaker who was brought in to address the industry.
It gives us a really candid look behind it.
It totally does. And just to give you a little tease of where we're going with this before we wrap up today, we're going to figure out what a Tesla AI, a pair of smart Ray-Ban glasses, and a retirement song called Mr. El Mango have to do with making industry.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. You guys know? You know what it means? Okay, so just to be clear, this is what I added over here. I added all the sources. So where did it come up with that song?
The gentleman has a great explanation about that. And many times quoted it Scribble last year. Put it up on the web.
Well, so it analyzed and pulled all that from everywhere it could find information and created this podcast. Now, this is the long version of the podcast. That's 14 minutes long. You can change the voices. You can change the language. You can insert yourself in there. So why would you use this? This is amazing for training employees. A lot of people are auditory learners. So you can create these kind of podcasts, make it fun, and you can have one person, two people, whatever you want to do, and it synthesizes information. So imagine you put all your training docs in there, and you create a podcast about it. And now you can share that with your team, you can listen to yourself. I do it a lot personally, is so I can learn about a company. I like listening to podcasts more than reading stuff, so then I will go in and do that. So, and it's, once again, this is free. So as long as you have a Google account, it's free. So it's very cool. I don't know if it's going to be free forever, but now these glasses, and you heard Laura say it too about troubleshooting with the glasses. Now I've had clients do it. My glasses, so I have was sort of like first generation, and I heard her say comfort-wise, they are a little tight. And my biggest complaint about this version is the battery is not that hot, but I heard that it's getting better. And mine do not have the little view here. But I can talk to the AI while I'm walking. I can have it analyze things. I can just have it do videos. I was in Charlotte a few weeks ago for a speaking engagement. I had the afternoon off, and I went for a walk, and I asked it to do a tour for me. So it was looking at all the things and telling me this is what happens here, and this is what happened. It was great. And I was walking so long that it started getting dark, and it was in kind of in a bad neighborhood all of a sudden. I was like, oh, here's another test. And I don't want to say the word META, because then it will turn them on. But I said to it, hey, META, please call the police, right? Thinking like if I needed them, I wanted to kind of test. It said, pick up your phone and dial 911. Oh, yeah, okay. So my husband pointed out that at least we would have an image of the last person I saw before I was killed in the bad neighborhoods. Yeah, thanks, honey. Love that. Now, next thing's a little bit of fun, but I'm telling you this for a reason, so bear with me. I love to go thrift store shopping. I saw some of you in the hall, we were talking about it. Everything I'm wearing is thrifted, it always is. My favorite color is sparkle, so it is just a blast for me. But one of the things that I built in the beginning was a custom GPT called Thriftinista. That's how a lot of people know me. I take people on thrift store bus tours, and I teach them how to thrift, and we make it into a fundraiser. So I built this AI that would scan the item and tell you what it's worth. And if it's not a good deal, then it will tell you where to go get it. Pretty cool. But I really wanted an app. Like I kind of wanted like Yelp for thrifting. And I had gotten quotes of between $10,000 and $30,000 for an app. I'm like, okay, we're not going to do this. This is dumb to go out and buy used clothes. So now, though, a few weeks ago, I took everything into Claude Code, and I said, Claude Code, I want to create an app. Boom. In 30 seconds, it gave me all the information I needed to create an app. And you can create a website just that fast. And this is inside of Google AI Studio. Now, another thing that Google AI Studio does is it will go through and it will analyze video. Now, this is incredibly important for a lot of different ways. You can take videos out in your shop floor and you can insert them in there and go back and forth with Studio because it can interpret the video. Another thing, does anybody in sales? Yeah? Everybody's in sales, right? You're a business, everybody's in sales. Well, one of the things that I do, and I'll show you the proposal here, is every time I have a Zoom meeting, I take that Zoom video and I put it into Studio and I have it analyze the entire meeting. Now, why not just throw the notes in there or something? Because if there's more than one person on the call, it's hard to like pay attention to everybody. You know, you've got like 5, 6 people talking and you're not really following along. So what the video does is it analyzes everyone's body language. Not so much of what's coming out of their mouth, but it tells you, well, so-and-so was distracted, and so-and-so was paying attention, and so-and-so had more questions, whatever it is. That video that you saw, I got a video that went to 4.8 million views on LinkedIn, which is huge, and I had no idea why. So I put the video in there, and I asked it to analyze it so it could tell me how I did it. I haven't been able to replicate it yet, but at least I know something of how that happened. Another thing, so here is Claude again. Here's our friend Claude. So Claude, now up on the top, you see chat, you see co-work and code. The big buzz now is about the code of Claude. And this is what the government's using it for. So you no longer need to be a coder in order to make things work like this. You need to be the human in the loop, though. So if you're going to use code to create a program inside your company, a custom program to analyze your line, analyze your business, code is probably where you'll go. And then you can use that code in other places. So this opens the world of creation, of creating all different kinds of AIs, processes, procedures, apps, whatever you want, things that you've only dreamed of in the past, bam, now you can create it yourself. But the words human in the loop. And that's why some of you who are a little bit more seasoned in their business walk are going to have better results because you know exactly what you need and how to make it work. If you've got somebody fresh out of school who only knows AI things, they don't know the process. They can't supervise it. So that's going to be key. Granted, coders are not really going away. Their roles are changing. And I don't want to sugarcoat that. There are a lot of roles that are going away, but the thing that you can do to protect yourself in this whole AI explosion is to become the best human in the loop possible. And you will continue to see agents. In fact, Microsoft says that in their 2025 workforce study, that you're going to have this kind of hierarchy in the not too distant future, where you will have human oversight managing agents. So your org chart might be director of this, that, and the other, but then below you, you may have agents reporting to you. And it is happening in certain places already. There are ways for you to do multiple agents at one time. There's a big brouhaha about this thing called Clawbot that became so successful and it created its own social network, and all of these AI agents were on it, and they still are. It's also very dangerous. And it's, a lot of these AIs, well, not a lot, all of them have a bias. They were built by someone. So whatever that person's bias was, it's living in the AI. And sometimes it's getting worse. So, who does PowerPoint presentations but doesn't love it? If I could show you one that's like super fast, would that work? Yeah? Okay, here you go. There's a tip jar in the back for this one. So here you go. So this is Gamma, GAMM.app. And Gamma is free for up to 8 slides. So what you're seeing here, this is not free because I use the paid version, and you'll see that it's using my colors. But all I asked it, I put one line in there. I said, create a PowerPoint for my sales meeting at the end of the week. And this is what it did. And I did not make this go fast. This is regular speed. And it knows nothing else except that one sentence. Now, granted, PowerPoint and Google Slides and everybody else is trying to catch up here, but it's got a really big lead. And you can also do all kinds of presentations in there. You can do documents. I'm going to show you my sales proposal now, and you'll be able to see how I put all this together. And that's how fast. And you can also take your old PowerPoints and throw them in there. Yes? Yeah, so on the free version, no, wait, so we're gonna go back and forth. It's okay. Come on, G, come on, G of G and G, G and G. So like this is what. So yes, so on the paid version, which is $29 a month, you can upload all your stuff. So logos, your colors, like this is my brand kit right here. So I have the red, it's got my logo on there, it's got my background. You can upload a whole bunch of things and have it incorporated. Or you can have it create it, and then that's the bar on the side, you can create graphs and charts, and like it's just mind-blowing. It's got AI built in the whole thing. So it's not only PowerPoints, but you can do documents, you can do websites even. Like you could make that a website. So this is what I do now for proposals. So first, I record and analyze the meeting, which I said. Then I put all my research into Notebook LM because I love it and it's amazing. And then I create the presentation with Gamma, which you just saw, and then I finalize and I export it. Now, I give this to people in a link, right? Because I want it to be live. And here's exactly what they get. They don't get that side thing, but this is what they get. So I'll tell you about that video in a sec. So what I do is after I know what we talked about, that thing that says Talkadot, that is my referral link. You can see all of my references. I made a video. There's my book. Here's stuff about them. So I put together this amazing proposal within an hour of us having the conversation. And Gary, I'm sorry, I didn't have this when I booked this with you, but I'll send you one after if you want. I feel kind of bad. But anyway, this is my new process. So you saw that image of me in there, and I want to share that with you here.
Hi, Sawyer and Pete. Thank you again for the great conversation today. I appreciate learning more about Northwest Iowa Community College and your goals around the workforce and community education. Based on our discussion, I've designed a flexible program that supports both customized employer training and open enrollment learning. The program is called Recoded, Upgrading Your Business DNA with AI. My approach is simple. Go old school before you go new school. And as discussed, we always start with a pre-session discovery survey. During the workshop, we will map out real workplace flows to identify friction before applying AI. And then we'll have a follow-up Ask Me Anything. For Sawyer's employer audience, we use AI literacy.
Okay. It's a little long. But anyway, you may have figured that's not me. That's my avatar.
Here's a really cool thing you can do with AI. I was able to learn some new languages before heading to this conference. Por ejemplo, ahora puedo hablar en español incluso sin usar mi internet. Se attraversassi il mare, potrei parlare italiano, perché ormai ci siamo tutti che sono italiana. Après une famille, je peux toujours aller visiter l'un des autres pays préférés, qui est la France et la ville de Paris. 最后，但同样重要的是，我们还可以用中文交流。我相信这总有一天会派上用场。
So I just took a selfie of myself. There was not even a video. It was a selfie. And I'm able to do that. And there's 129 languages and accents and dialects that you can translate. My husband's waiting for the New Jersey Italian version. Not come out yet. Same thing with the glasses. We're waiting for I am waiting for the Vietnamese one because I want to know what they're saying at the nail salon. So, quickly, I know some of you may be in marketing or know more about marketing. We can have a side conversation about this. I want to try and make a presentation for everyone. But being found on the internet is different now. Search engine optimization is not the same as it was. It's completely upside down now. And one of the biggest things is answer engine optimization, and that is having frequently asked questions everywhere. Whether you put a bot on your website, you have it on your LinkedIn profile, wherever you are, answer engine optimization. Also, your expertise, anything that you've ever written, things you've spoken about, it's an authority tool. So this is not a time for you to be humble. You want to get everything that you have done, your expertise, your experience, out there on your website or your LinkedIn. That is how people are going to find you. And that is how you're going to gain authority. Also, with search engine optimization changing, I would really, if you don't have an in-house marketing department, you need to be putting the pressure on your marketing, external marketing company. What are they doing about AI? How are they changing? What are their new plans for you and your company and your website? Now, I am the shoemaker with holes in my shoes because the person who manages my website happens to be a really good friend of mine in Williams, which I would, as a business coach, tell you, don't do that. That's dumb. But here I am. And he is like lagging in the AI stuff. Like, I am teaching him, and then he's charging me. So I'm like, I know, I'm so aggravated about it, but whatever. I mean, sometimes you just got to suck it up. But I really would say you got to press your marketing people and make sure that they know this stuff. Okay. And finally, this world is changing, and it's changing fast. And I don't want you to be left behind. If there's anything I can do to answer any questions or anything, in fact, we're going to do a Q&A here. I'm going to finish up and we're going to do a Q&A. And I know we're running a little bit behind, but I was told we have like a 15-minute buffer. So, and then we'll do the Ask Me Anything call. But first, I'm going to introduce you to my friend Tiramisu. She is my Aussie Doodle puppy, which William and I put cameras around the house while we're gone, because she is notoriously naughty. If you are a Doodle owner, you know what I'm talking about. But yesterday, she was caught up on top of the counter in our kitchen. She jumped up there. But anyway, she's going to help me close this out. You're going to get your downloads, and then we're going to do Q&A. All right, so think about what your questions are. So here's Tiramisu.
Hello everyone, my name is Tiramisu, and we are going to pause for a moment so you can give my mom some feedback and get your downloads. And don't worry if the feedback's not good, it helps her to get better. And I'll snuggle with her while she drinks heavily and listens to Taylor Swift Shook Off over and over.
Yeah, I don't know why her mouth was, there she's moving. Now it's working. All right, well anyhow, here's the QR code for the goodies. I will also give this to Gabby and Gary so that they can put it in your conference stuff, so that if you didn't get it here, that's fine. We'll get it back out to you. And this just really helps me to understand what you learned and what you didn't learn and how we can get in touch. Okay, got it? I don't want to leave you hanging about the Italian thing. So I don't know what happened exactly. My mother has got a lot of explaining to do if we ever see each other again. But I did 10 DNA tests and hired a DNA detective. It was a long process. And I found out that there were some nefarious characters in my history, in my family. In fact, my Uncle Sal was prominently portrayed in the movie The Irishman. So Martin Scorsese and the FBI both think he killed Hoffa. So my husband says, this explains a lot about you, that you are a mobster. And we sold the company, and guess what? It was called Goodfellas. What are the chances, right? And then finally, the Irish Catholic person who my mother is related to, couple variations away. But I get an email from someone in Ireland. It says, when you are coming to visit the ancestral home, this is what you're going to do, and you need to call me and make a reservation. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? What ancestral home? What family? It's this family. I am related to this family, although distantly. So for 70 years, the world has wondered if the mob and the Kennedys had anything to do with each other, and I stand before you as living proof. Thank you. All right. Gary got the mic. What questions you got? And I'm going to the luncheon, and I'll be here tonight, so, and I'm more chatty if I have wine. I might even get my New Jersey accent back if somebody speaks to me in Jersey. Anybody from Jersey or New York here? No? All right, good. I'll be on my best behavior then. Question here?
So we've met with a couple companies that help with integration of AI into business. Thus far, we found that the model they're looking for is to be paid in perpetuity to maintain what they're building. Is that the only way that things are going in this space?
No. This is what I think. This is my theory. This is how I do it. I meet with before, go on site, do a day or two, and then we do group meetings for a period of time, right? And I like to roll it out into 90-day increments and teach you how to do it. Teach you how to be the human in the loop, right? Consulting companies are losing a lot of ground right now, the big ones, because their model is now not working, right? Because there is this in perpetuity thing. But really, the business owners or our leadership should be learning how to do this and becoming that human in the loop and understanding all the processes that you want to systemize and how you do it. And you know, there's a lot of tools, right? There's so many tools, like which one's which. So people ask me all the time, which tool is the right one? There's a website called There's an AI for That. And it tracks how many AIs there are at any given time. When I first started doing this talk, there were 7,000. There's 43,000 as of yesterday morning. 43,000. So there's massive amounts of tools, and you need to pick the ones that are right for you. And I also say this to people, do not sign an annual agreement if you can get away with it. Because unless it's your ERP system or something like really big and custom, because things are going to change. And you know, you don't want to be stuck with a technology that's not going to do what your company needs it to do. So did that answer your question? Yeah. That's it? Oh, okay.
What are your personal boundaries of security and privacy, and what are you willing and not willing to upload to AI models?
Well, first of all of the AI that I use is the subscription model, which creates its own problem because I'm starting a 12-step program for subscription addiction. But you know, what you need to do is I say pick a lane, right? So if you're going to use Copilot, which is the safest, I will say that. I think Copilot has a lot of limitations. However, they are now riding on ChatGPT 5.3, and 5.4 just came out yesterday morning. So they're riding on that because Microsoft owns 40% of ChatGPT. Might as well use what you own. So it's getting better, and that's the most secure. I will never upload anything of clients without permission. Like I had an old client of mine, and I uploaded her financials, but here's something that you can do. If you're gonna upload financials, just take off any identifying data, right? And you can also just cut and paste the numbers and throw it in there. It doesn't care that it's in a nice sheet because you wanna be protected. So a lot of things, and then what I was showing on the ChatGPT dashboard, and all of the large language models have it now, is the connectors. So you want to be really careful with that, right? Do not let your employees be connecting to your OneDrive so they can analyze the last 20 years of financials, which, woo, that's great, but now you've just opened your OneDrive to the world. So you need to be very careful with those connectors. That would be my absolute don't do it unless you know what you're doing. So yeah, and I don't think you can block that off. But it should be where you can block it off. Does that help? Yes. One more. All right. It's time to eat. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. It was a fantastic day at Vernon. We've got 3 major events coming up today. We have the Roots Manufacturing Luncheon next door. We have pickleball starting at 1:30.
Pickleball.
There will be shuttles of pickleball. We have a pirate ship, the shuttle taking back and forth for 10 seconds. This is an open event. If you're not playing pickleball, come support your favorite pickleball players. Harass them, name call, cheer.